How do I do this? If I switch to the other stream, we're going to lose the connection. That's the problem. So I had it on the fast mesh, and unfortunately, damn, last time I tried to do this, we lost the connection. So I apologize if the stream is a little slow today. Dang it. There you go. I woke up this morning, I went online, got everything ready for the show, turned the computer on the fast mesh so that we wouldn't freeze. And then when I came back, it went asleep and switched to the slow mode. So there you go. We do what we can to be present for people, and sometimes it still messes things up. So I apologize. No, I mean slow mo. No, I want to be on a 5G so that you guys don't freeze. But unfortunately, yeah. So a couple things before we get started. First off, thank you so much. There's 199 people here, and I just want to say, wow, thank you for spending your Sunday with me. I was thinking about it, as I was getting ready today. How much gratitude and I have for the people that now 238 people have decided to spend their Sunday with me. And, I feel obligated that you all have a really good time because you're spending your time with me. So I do appreciate that. I want to start off with some gratitude before we get started on remote viewings, blitzes, and everything else. So I have a couple notes. First off, I got a huge bunch of gifts for my birthday. Thank you, Douglas, for the beautiful necklace. Gorgeous. It's like a smoky quartz, which is good for grounding. I got a lot of beautiful gifts, coffee, etc., from Carol. I also wanted to give a shout out to, I believe it was SS. I swear, you folks must be psychics. Periodically I have a thought like, wow, I'm having a problem cleaning. I'm trying to be eco-friendly. And so SS sent me these. Look at this. These you can use to clean your kitchen. Aren't these pretty? Oh wow. Look, they've got a tough side on them too to help with rubbing. So I really needed these. I'm always trying to come up with things that we can recycle to clean. So thank you. I'll be sending thank you notes to everybody. So, and also thank you to Joan. Joan sent me a gift and $5, I believe is what she said. So thank you. I have not spent it yet, but I am going to buy myself a cup of coffee soon when I go out. Yeah, so SS, thank you for that. I'll be sending you a thank you note for that. Okay, so, and I showed you the beautiful cat tarot I got. This is hysterical, by the way. If you love cats, check out the cat tarot. It's absolutely hysterical. Yeah. The devil is the dog, actually. Somebody said the vacuum cleaner, I believe. What was the vacuum cleaner? Death. The vacuum cleaner is death, and the dog. And it was so funny because the dog is a smiling, happy golden retriever, and golden retrievers don't want to hurt anybody. They just want to love everybody. Golden retrievers, they say, put paw prints on your heart. So it was just kind of funny that the cat saw the golden retriever as the devil because golden retrievers give in, right? They've got no resistance. They just want to love everybody. They're not like a cat. So I thought it was really, really funny that they made the golden retriever the devil, right? Codependent relationships. All right, so let's go ahead and give gratitude to everybody, and then we're going to get through a ton of announcements. We're going to go as fast as possible. I know people get impatient, but I will go as fast as I can, starting with We want to give gratitude to everybody who decided to join us here today, starting with B. Gray from Northern California. Welcome to the show. Again, thank you, Douglas, for being a moderator and for having great taste in jewelry. We welcome you here. Kitchen Table Tarot is in the house. And also, if Kitchen Table Tarot could send me an email, as I would like to do a Blitz with you, maybe a collaboration interview. I'm really curious about your work. So if email from Kitchen Table would be awesome. Patty Martins is in the house. Hello, hello. And Jeffrey Stein, welcome, welcome. Always good to see you. Debbie N, hello. Melinda Dutcher is here. Welcome, welcome. Pierre Walker in Northern California. Welcome back. Thank you for moderating. Teresa Harper's in the house. Jill Linda, hello. All right. Well, hi, Aaron R. We'll keep saying hi to people as we go along. Shane Gamble from Canada. Awesome. Thank you, JoJo, for your donation of $13.99 in support of the channel. And thank you so much, Linda G. Wow, I didn't even know Linda G was watching the chat. How gracious and loving, Linda. Thank you so much. And I'm a big fan of your channel. Love you, girl. And I thank you so much for the support. You're awesome. Blessings to you. All right, everybody. Wow. Dang, do we have a lot to talk about. I've had the most amazing remotes. Before I get started, a lot of people have been asking about the HCRV class. I am starting a join button. I know I held off on the join button as long as I could, but here's the thing. It's going to take a lot of work for me to do some of what I'm doing. I have the angels and fairies for $2.99, and that's going to be the spiritual remote viewings that a lot of people don't want to get because I'm going to do private, because I do meditations and then I get messages from spirit. And then sometimes people don't want to see it because this is more of a political, fun entertainment show. So I thought that I would put those remote viewings on that particular channel for $2.99. And then the other one, which is Empath, that's the HCRV training. I think it's $6.99 a month. Because it's hours of work. I'm going to be doing handouts, pamphlets, etc., and we'll be learning the class together so that people can teach it and eventually get certified. Because a lot of people are running around saying they're doing HCRV, and I had a heart-to-heart with Diane, and it's important for us to protect the teaching so that they don't get distorted into something else. So that's what's going on with the empaths level. The third level is the elders, and the elders is naturopathic medicine education training on how to be a wise woman. As many of you know, I have a doctorate in naturopathic medicine and $350,000 in student loan debt. Yay! Which I don't have to start paying back until September. So by organizing and giving the gift of the education that the federal government has graciously given me, this is something I can give back to the community while being a responsible person and continuing to donate to charity, etc. And then finally, the last one is the benefactors, and I think it's something like $99, and that's for my professionals, people-owned companies, etc. And they will request readings from me once a month. Half-hour readings are $85, and so they just get that for free, plus all the other benefits. So if you own a business, I have a lot of people that just need to come in once a month. They're making business decisions, or they're wanting life coach readings, etc. So that's the benefactors. Again, this is just how we become a responsible adult, as they say. I know it's difficult to be a responsible adult sometimes, but we work at it. Deb, thank you for the belated $9.99 donation. You're awfully sweet, Anna Masita. Blessings to you as well. I miss you already, girl. All right, Christopher, thank you so much for the $10 donation. So please forgive me, everybody, for having to do the join button. But alas, It's necessary. The last thing, now I feel so terrible saying this, is we have to hold off on the donations for about 2-3 months. As you know, when I did my taxes, I didn't sign up and I didn't log into those companies so that they could send me an annual receipt. Instead, they gave me individual receipts. So when I looked at my notes, I had like 100 receipts, and I was doing TurboTax, and they were like, great, please type in all of your receipts. And it's like, or you can just declare a blanket 300. So I just like, you know what, I can't, I just don't. So I ended up having to pay something like $6,000-$7,000. So that's why we have to take a break for a couple of months while I just recover from that. Now, future donations, I'm going to actually have an account through American Forest and have it be taken out monthly so that we can work out the taxes a little bit better, because I'm kind of naive. I'm new at this philanthropy stuff. So that's what's going on. And I apologize. If you don't want to watch the commercials because you can't stand it, you're off the hook for the next 3 months. If you do decide to watch them, the money will go to continuing to support and keep up the channel. So we thank you for that. Thank you, Linda Gallen. Love your Sunday show. And I love having you here. All right, there's 607 of us here, so I think we better get started. Thank you, Pam C8KS, for showing support and love to the people that are moderating. Douglas, I haven't put the join button up yet. I'm working on it, and I would also like... Oh, I can do a revise? I can't be bothered. I'm so busy, to be honest with you. Thank you, Cindy. You're very kind. Thank you, Minky. You guys are really generous today. I better do a good job, right? You motivate. There she is, the star of the show, Armila. Thank you, Mika Flower Studio. Okay, so we ready for the remote views? Be sure and send me messages, emails, text, email is best, about what you would like to see on the join button. And I can always modify and change things based on the needs of the groups. What do you need from me, from my skill set, in order to support you so that you get the best deal? Because I want to do this with as much honor and integrity as possible. And so, yeah, let's do this thing. Reach out to me. I'm here to help. All right, so the first remote, are we ready to go? I'm a little surprised about this remote because, people ask me to go to all kinds of places in my head, and it's weird. I was asked to go in and look at Ghislaine Maxwell. Does everybody remember good old Ghislaine Maxwell? All right, so this goes back to a conversation I want to have about informants. Okay, thank you, Mary. You're very kind. You remember how in previous remotes, when you folks asked me to go down and check on Bannon, for example, was arrested when he was on the yacht. Gao, I believe his name is Gao Wei, a multi-billionaire that's trying to overthrow the communist government of China, because Gao Wei believes that he should be the true emperor of China. I mean, so what happened with Steve Bannon is that he was arrested while he was doing business with Gao Wei. And I believe Gao Wei also is part of the fake news media. He's part of Tang Dynasty News, for example. Thank you, Christy Price. And thank you, Lisa Rives, for that coffee donation. It will be used because I am a girl who's prepared. You can see the little drips of chocolate that I put in it. Anyway, so what I always feel when I go into Steve Bannon's energy is that this is kind of like a creepy crawly person that slithers around and does business with these folks that are part of this international fake media conglomerations. And the function of the fake media conglomerations, somebody had asked what the function was to keep the 1% in power. Now, in Britain, it's all about the Tories, it's all about eugenics, it's all about preserving conservative ideas about class, etc. What's interesting when you go into the energy of Ghislaine Maxwell is that she has the same aspects as Steve Bannon in the sense that she's doing exactly the same thing. We're seeing a pattern here, and I want people who are HCRV practitioners, when you get into the meditative state, this is for people that are going to start training, professionally training. When you get into the professional state, what you're going to start looking for or feeling in your body as an empath is you're going to start feeling and sensing consistent patterns. So what do we know about Steve Bannon, Galway, Eric Prince, Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein? What are we seeing are consistent patterns? Boating, yachting, private islands, international waters, meetings in the Seychelles. So what we're seeing in these patterns is one aspect of how these individuals are able to communicate and run basically a separate government or an independent government, which is mobile through this type of nautical, freewheeling, wealthy wheeling dealing, international business. So in walks Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell appears to be one of these sleazy people who's doing business with all of these important people who have relationships, international business dealings with the United States, Britain, Israel, etc. And her job is to get on these boats, wheel and deal, and supply entertainment, etc. for these individuals. And what keeps her out of jail is she periodically will give a cherry on top to these intelligence agencies because they want to have somebody with eyes in there who's sleazy and creepy, and they're going to get them off the hook and not put them in prison forever like Epstein VIP, right? Because they're willing to tolerate it so that they can get somebody on the boat or at the Seychelles or somewhere else in order to give the information. So that is the function of these informants, and that is why it's frustrating as it is for the rest of us. We want to rip our hair out. Why aren't the feds arresting them? Why isn't the CIA taking these folks in? That is why. That's the type of protection that Ghislaine Maxwell has. Thank you, Liz. It's very kind. Now, in terms of the mental health of this individual, when you go into the meditation, I would say that she's in pretty bad shape because mentally, when I went in, I felt like I was losing my mind. I really wonder, I don't know what kind of mental health this individual will have by the end of this. I was watching Rachel Maddow a couple of days ago when she was requesting, she was talking about how Ghislaine Maxwell was requesting parole and literally was willing to do anything to get out of jail. It's because of this feeling I had as Ghislaine Maxwell, because I'm an HCRV practitioner, so I put myself in the shoes of the subject. I felt like I had gone insane. Talking to myself, the isolation alone, being stuck inside my own mind, hearing voices, talking to the dead, rambling to myself, not remembering how to brush my own hair. This is I would be very surprised if by the end of this, Ghislaine Maxwell was not suffering from severe mental health decline, similar to what we saw with what's his name? He got arrested in Britain. He was in the consulate. I'm sorry. I have to finish. I haven't finished the coffee yet. Thank you, Liz. Julian Assange. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You can tell. I was up till 3:30 in the morning watching Rebecca, the remake of Rebecca. Y'all know my patterns, right? It's like Whimsy loves her mystery. Yes. Anyway, so I'm an empath. Even Ghislaine Maxwell, I felt bad for. Even her, I was like, dang. That's suffering. That's real suffering. So yeah, like Julian Assange, a lot of these people, who knows how he was able to stay out of jail, but it's bizarre. It's just like this competition for fake news between all these people, and then you have these wannabes, and it's like, why aren't the wannabes being arrested? Because the wannabes are giving so much great information to the intelligence agencies. Rough night's sleep. Yes, filler in. I definitely get affected by the moon changes. I felt, Christine, as her, that I was in solitary confinement. I had my head against the wall. I was beginning to talk to myself. I was arguing with myself, but that really couldn't be. But it could be, so that I could hear my own voice. My hair was a mess. I didn't have any dye in it. It had come out gray up to about here. I don't think I was washing every single day because my hair was kind of dry. I don't think I was washing it every day. And I was arguing and talking to myself consistently. And I was trying to, I did kind of bang my head just to create some stimulation or some kind of give and take between myself and the world. It's bad. She's in bad shape mentally, so much so that if this continues, her physical and mental health is so declined that I think at this point it's cruel and unusual punishment, and so for that reason, if I know how horrible she is, but you question whether or not treating prisoners like this is even constitutional. But it's bad. Her mental health is. I don't think people realize what she's like in that room. The cameras are off. It's bad. Wow. What do y'all think about that? It makes you think this is the future of informants. You're sitting pretty now. We're protecting you now, right? Now we'll protect you, but we can't guarantee going forward another 5 to 10 years from now, another administration comes in or another AG comes in that may close down that program. And then who knows just how safe you are. And that's what happened to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. A new sheriff came in town. Maybe they shut that down, or they no longer needed that program, or the powers that be. There was shifting political powers. And so informants that were once important to the Americans no longer were important. And so they were literally thrown to the wolves. And that's basically what happened. And that's probably the future of Bannon, I would think. It's interesting that she started a nautical society, a nonprofit, Ghislaine Maxwell did, for young people to learn about the seas and protecting the seas. So, yeah. It's the seas. The seas are the great unknown. It's the great wide open. It's the wild, wild west. That's how they're operating. So it's kind of cool as a remote viewer that when I was sent in, that's where I landed and that's where I stayed. Wow. Are we ready for the group reading? Can you believe this? Can you believe those kinds of remotes? Like, I went in and I found this. Like, you're like operating like a damn government and you're not getting permission from it. You're just doing what you like. I mean, Yeah, but what's also amazing is just how tied they are to these fake media. You know, it's like something Orson Welles would have cooked up or something. I don't know. All right, let's do it. Time to do the empath's prayer. Let's go in and have some fun. Sound good, everybody? Christine, VR, you know, if with your permission, I'd like to go ahead and pin that because that's exactly, I mean, it sounds like something from like something that Hitchcock would have made, right? But it did look like that, as if she was battling her own conscience. You know, we've talked about the prefrontal cortex, the last part of the evolving brain, the prefrontal and frontal cortex, the ability to reason, the ability to look back at your situation objectively and see clearly the consequences of your actions. And when you go into the energy of Ghislaine Maxwell, I felt like the thing I was fighting was the truth, the reality of who and what I am and what I have done. And as she'll either lose her mind in this battle with reality, fighting reality, which is what a breakdown is. A breakdown is your brain coming to terms with coping with objective reality. And unfortunately, she lived in a delusion. She lived in a delusion that it was okay. And unfortunately, now the hard truth, her brain must come to terms with the hard truth. And being haunted makes a lot of sense. You know, it's these archetypes live inside us. They're an aspect of our humanity, right? So the Queen of Wands is an aspect that exists in all of us. And the Queen of Wands is, I think, an aspect of our humanity that seeks justice absolute. And so even somebody as lost and confused as Ghislaine Maxwell has a part of her that seeks justice absolute. And that aspect of herself is the aspect that has unfortunately driven her to such suffering. I mean, the only redemption is you have to own it. You have to own your mistakes, stop writing pretty pictures, pretty stories about what you did, and see the reality of what you did and make amends. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the empath prayer now. She is on suicide. I would put her on suicide watch based on what I witnessed, even though I don't think she has much of a mind left right now. She needs medical attention. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community. As we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records, we call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the planet, for the people we love, and even to help those we may have strife with. And together collectively, we say, Amen. Let's go in. It's a nice day. Happy Passover to everyone, if you celebrate the Passover. I did all my planting. Oh my God, I wish I could show you guys what I did with, it's 8 feet by 3.5 feet. That's how big my balcony is. It's going to produce enough food for 2-3 people because of how I'm doing with raised beds and everything. It's incredible. So I planted everything yesterday. A little late, but still good. Planted wildflowers before that, and they're now coming up, which is cool. All right, where we are at right now, this group is at a point in our lives where we are really feeling that spring energy. Who here is feeling spring energy? Let's talk about this. The collective reading. Collective reading is, if anybody knows how to timestamp, I would really love to learn how to I don't know how to timestamp. Collective reading starts at 30:24. All right, where we're at right now, letting go of the things that don't serve us. This is a poverty card. Can everybody see this card? This is the 5 of Pentacles. I've talked a lot about this card. I always call this card leaving the broken man. He's in pretty bad shape, the guy behind her. He's kind of dragging her down. She's not doing too well herself. I've been in relationships like this. It's no fun, right? It's being in a situation where you feel dragged down. You know there's got to be a way out of one situation. It's often associated with poverty. Oh, did you all see that? I just had an orb fly past. I don't usually get those. So, hello, whoever you are. That was very cool. So 5 of Pentacles, a lot of people, because of spring, I think because it's the Passover, because it's the Easter, it's it's about rising up. It's about the old man being left behind. It's about the time in our lives when we let the things of the past, our poverty, the impoverished mind, the impoverished heart. There isn't enough. There isn't enough. There's never enough. That is the thing. That is the skin that we shed. This is the time in our lives when we shed the conception or the view of ourselves that there isn't enough. There isn't enough love. There isn't enough money, or this idea of scarcity, resolutions to scarcity. The other thing that's happening in this community quite a bit is a feeling that one has been called to knowledge, to learning. Doesn't mean that everybody here is going to the university, but there's this real hunger to learn and real excitement about learning and studying, and passion about where learning and education will take us. This is a 5 of Wands. This is about passionate exchange of ideas. I really like this card. I once read an interpretation of this card where it was actors, that they were actually a group of actors. This is the theater card, by the way. If you are someone that's interested in the theater, if you are an actor, or if you're doing a reading for an actor, I thought that this was a great card. But basically what this book said, it was a book I read a couple of years ago. It's almost like the merry men, right? They're not hitting each other, but they are excitedly constructing something, and it's like a play or a performance. It also has aspects of education and communication, exchange of ideas. There can be arguments. If you look closely at the card, you also see that nobody's actually physically hurting anybody. They're just holding sticks. So it's a card that has to do with construction, exchange of ideas, differing opinions, but it can also often be the actor's card. So I think what's happened for the group, my summary of this reading is that we are leaving ideas that no longer suit us, that leave us feeling impoverished or unloved or lacking, and instead we're moving towards an awareness of, kind of like when I talk about being about our business, someone who is active, mobile, getting educated, fixing their situation, learning how to work with other people. So we've moved from a state of helplessness or searching or poverty into being mobilized and feeling self-sufficient to some extent. Where we are at right now, let's take a look. The Karma card comes to us in the first house. It's as it should be. When we do the work, we do better. When we do the work, when we look at ourselves and we, kind of like, to some horrible, morbid sense, kind of like Ghislaine Maxwell is being forced to look at her stuff. It's a very painful process. How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this poverty? But I think a lot of us have really worked through our shadow. Look at that Wheel of Fortune coming in for us. Thank you, Maxine Rosola. Very kind. Thank you, Mojo. Happy Passover to you as well. And then look at this. Now, how's that for an archetype? This card, the Queen of Swords, I've talked to you about this before. She has her back to the past. She holds the sword of truth. She's done with the past. Here's the overriding message for this community collectively. The past is dead. If we waste too much time about what could have been, should have been, it's actually it is the source of poverty. If the energy is stagnant, if you're not moving your energy, if you're trapped in the past, if you're trapped in relationships that are pulling you back because you feel you don't have closure or something like that, it blocks all kinds of energy, including financial. All energy becomes stagnant. And so the message from Spirit is, if you're trapped in the past, if you're stagnating, every aspect of your life can be stagnated. It's going to prevent new love from coming in, new job opportunities. And so that's really why the Queen of Swords comes in and crosses the reading karmically. It's time to really to move on, basically. What is above us? Look, 3 of Wands, great card. It's often called the wish card. The boat is coming in, right? Waiting for my boat to come in. 3 of Wands has also can be a travel card. I read it as a travel card, often travel over the waters. A lot of people are thinking about those Greene cruise lines. They're trying to redo the cruise lines to be more environmentally friendly because a lot of people are boycotting the cruise lines. So it's kind of cool to see a lot of them are starting to do the green recycling. They're trying to have the carbon neutral food on the boat with minimal impact. I know Norwegian cruise lines is starting to get really good about that. Like they have a environmental advocate on every cruise. So we're starting also to see, again, this alignment starting to happen between industry and where the values of the nation are headed. Kind of like a nice, look at that Lover's card moving in. People are coming together and helping one another in ways that they haven't before. The past placement, look at this, all scholarship. It's all about a period in our lives, learning, developing, coming together with people we would normally not talk to, opening up our energy a little bit more. Look at this, money starting to move for this group. A lot of people are going to be starting your own businesses. You're going to be financially stable. May, I'm telling you, by May, a lot of you folks, there's more work than people because all those federal, all that federal money starts to come in, and then the feds start hiring, and then the states are also taking money, so the states are hiring. So I'm telling you, by May, bam, 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 work. Enjoy your time off. If you are going to be taking a vacation, if you have gotten vaccinated, enjoy it. Because I'm telling you, this will be the most productive time in American history. So people had asked, well, what's going to be redone? Well, the parks have to be redone. The public lands have to be redone. The highways have to be redone. The dams have to be redone. The bridges have to be redone. New streets and roads have to be constructed. And grids that are falling apart have to be broken down. And structures that were running on one type of fuel have to be converted to green sources in federal buildings and state buildings. So think about the level of work we're talking about. And that requires accountants and human resources people and managers and construction people. So it was necessary to do this just because of the trains. We have to get the train system completely overhauled to the new speed rail system. So my feeling is when I go into this energy for people is enjoy your freedom. Enjoy your freedom because we are on the precipice of the most productive time probably in American history. This is what should have happened in 1867, this kind of rebuilding and reconnecting of the infrastructure. Don't stress out about everything. COVID, right? Angry air energy. Don't stress out about it. The hopes and the fears that things are not moving quickly enough, and the final outcome, the heartbreak regarding COVID. Yes, the nation is still grieving over COVID. Here's the bailout. They're going to be funding a lot of new business. Look at that. Small businesses are going to really be part of the future economy. The surgeon's card also. Military surgeon's card. Keep ourselves strong, keep ourselves organized, keep ourselves emotionally in a good place. But there's so much work coming. I can't stress enough what May looks like. It's like, it almost looks like there's more work than bodies. By May, people are going to be begging for the immigrants to come because, I mean, it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I think that that's one of the reasons why the Five of Wands comes in as the karma card for the Nate. I mean, it's just like everybody's working. Everybody's working. Wow. Enjoy your vacation, everybody. Think about it this way. If you want to work starting in May, you've got consistent work for about 2.5, 3 years and it's maybe no vacation. I mean, it's that kind of war production. You know, think about it. Amtrak has to be completely overhauled. He wants this done in 9 years. So yeah, that's our situation. Did everybody enjoy your group reading? Thank you, Fillerin. Hi, Susan. Thank you for the beautiful, beautiful shawl. By the way, I love it, Susan. It's very kind of you. I sent thank you notes to people. So that was... I don't know how I feel about it because I'm kind of getting tired, man. I want to go on vacation. And then when I look at the April, May energy, I'm like, oh, it just looks so busy. You know what I mean? It's just like, can't I just go on vacation before we get into that whole, but you know, what's interesting is I think the more excited we get about the work, the more passionate, the more energy we're going to have. So that's really good. Okay, so we ready for the blitzes? It is terrific news. I guess they're building an entirely new levee system on the East Coast, Eastern Seaboard, going to save New York, New Jersey. That's a lot of work. Engineers. I have to redo the... Also, there's new levee systems, aid we have to give to Puerto Rico and some of the islands that are vulnerable. Yeah. Also building infrastructure that never got built in areas like West Virginia, etc. And then there's money that's going towards just helping people take their existing businesses and transform them to green over the next 9 years. So yeah, a lot of work. We are a nation in debt, but when you create jobs, you create taxable incomes. So it's kind of like you invest in your business, say a couple $1,000, and then hopefully your business gives you a return that justifies the initial investment. And that's basically what happened to the United States in World War II. We came out of a depression. They did a war act. They started to put people to work and fund small businesses, and it actually became a time of great wealth, the 50s and 60s for the United States. And I think that that's what Biden is hoping will happen again with this stimulus. Lyric Alden, it hurts your ears to hear about Ghislaine Maxwell. It hurts my psyche to have to go in, but if people look, I'm glad I went in and took a look at Ghislaine Maxwell because now this community knows why these people didn't get arrested for so long. Now we know what they're up to. And now that we've done a remote and we've scanned the grid and we know that the target is, how they're communicating, it makes it easier for me and other remote viewers to then get more specific and start targeting specific people and specific meetings, etc. So in a way, it's frustrating, but the fact that, hey, all's fair in love and war and high seas spying, send in the HCRV people, and now at least we know where to go to get the information and what they're up to. Okay, let's do some blitzes. All right, so any questions about all of that? Michelle, my belle. Yes. The Suez Canal. Somebody had said, that was funny. I did a remote Friday. I was on the remote view. Such a fun show. And I did HCRV to become the boat stuck in the Suez Canal. And I went under the boat and my whole entire back got brushed by a bunch of sand and rock because they didn't clear enough of the canal. And so he got stuck. And then every time he would get out to a free area, he'd wind up in another. The water levels are too low. But what can you do? Global warming, I think, might be part of that. Okay. So, let's do this. Okay, the first question is coming from Dove Girl. Hello, Dove Girl, and thanks for joining us. Dove Girl writes, love that picture. Picture of the party that I put up. Will voter suppression laws be overturned in court? Will S1 pass? Whimsy, I am afraid for our country. Mine is the first question. Wow, I'm surprised. Thank you for all you do. So, good question from Dove Girl. She wants to know about voter suppression laws. So, I think that's a great question. What do y'all think? I think we're all a little worried about this. Good thing to be worried about, right? Let's go and do it. Voter suppression laws. We're doing our blitzes now. Aw, Jay, we love having you. I'm so appreciative of, it means I can't believe 1,100 people want to hang out with me and play cards. It's awesome. Was it Linda G that said that Stacey Abrams was the reincarnation of George Washington? I would think absolutely yes, because George Washington was so determined not to have a king, and that the people would. Washington was an amazing man, actually. This is so much fun. Don't you love it? It's a lot of fun. We will celebrate. There will be a rejoicing in the United States. It was, what I get when I go in is that you cannot override, you cannot take away someone's constitutional rights. You can see the Ten of Cups is the base of the matter, which is the happy family, the celebration. It's one of the most positive cards in the card chart. But what's the karma? We pull 2 cards, right? We pull 12 cards in Celtic Cross, if you're looking at the base, and you're also including the card underneath to be the struggle. The struggle is leaving the broken man. False beliefs, right? It's interesting when you think about modern Buddhism and the movement of modern Buddhism to do away with false teachings like blaming the slave or something like that. The modern Buddhist movement, you know, Tibetan exile, et cetera, it's all been about healing this former feudalism, this former false belief of victim blaming. You know, one monk said, the Chinese forced the Tibetans, we were forced into exile so that we could learn Buddhism because we had forgotten Buddhism. When we started blaming the victim, we started distorting the teachings. False teachings can lead to a kind of spiritual exile from the church due to false teachings. So that's kind of where we're at here. Prejudice, racism is a false teaching, and false teachings lead to suffering. So they have to be let go of, and that's exactly what we see with the base of the matter, the karma coming in to overcome a belief system that places us in exile of false teaching, right? It keeps us from the awakening, a celebration. The sun is coming out. No, they won't succeed, because if they continue to do this, they won't have a party. Young Republicans don't want anything to do with this. They want to grow medical marijuana. Yeah, look at this. No, look at this. No from the business world. No from the business sector. They say it's killing their business. Prejudice is destroying their business. How's that for a comment? You're killing us. You're killing the weed industry. You're killing what we're trying to do here. You're suppressing. I sell to these people. Yeah, I'm a Republican. Yeah, I wanted good business. I'm 38 and I'm a young Republican, but damn, man, you're costing me money, because those people that you're afraid of, the other, right? The other in relationship to the businessman will take their business somewhere else. So it becomes financially a good idea to stop promoting ideas that suppress the people that are doing business with you. I feel like the new economy is such that the people rise up. The people rise up. It's not hard to do. All we have to do is look at the main companies that are advertising on these fake media platforms and run strong media campaigns to boycott them. When they start losing massive chunks of money, because I'm sorry to say, a Republican is going to be somebody who's interested in money and the dollar, and that is exactly what comes up here. Look at this: the money, the expertise. A judgment had to be made by the business world. The truth coming out, concerns about foolish behavior due to past alliances. This is like the Trumpsters. Instead, hey man, you're costing me money, right? The expert comes in. Charity. What is around? They leave it. No, the new Republican Party doesn't want this. Hopes and fears. They feel they need new, strong leadership. And then the final outcome, 10 of Swords, devastation. Let me get a clarification on that, because the 10 of Cups summary is positive. Yeah. 10 of Swords, it's devastating, but our outcome is we will be healed. Look, there's a 10 of Swords there, which is a pain in the tuchus. It means a feeling of being betrayed and stabbed in the back. So, how do I think this is going to end based on these records? Look at this. You've got a 10 of Swords, a feeling of being stabbed in the back, and a need to get out of one situation in order to get to 10 of Cups. And then the healing begins. I think that they made the biggest mistake possible. I'm going to go ahead and make this prediction based on these cards. They blew themselves up. Because what's going to start happening on a state level and a local level and on a business level is that it's bad for business, and it's going to cause people to run from the Republican Party, and it will blow up in their face. People who supported this party will start to feel betrayed, 10 of Swords. They will try to heal the situation, Page of Cups, because they will get so much backlash for having supported this that it could theoretically take down their businesses. And it's that, look, what they care about is money. So great. We as advocates, as people who care about human rights, we can just take our money elsewhere. And then the good people who care about human rights, right? The good modern Republican, right? Who cares about the quality of the marijuana he's producing, right? The Paul Ryans that got into medical marijuana because money, 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 right? They just want you to buy their product. Great. You want us to buy your product, then you need to stop endorsing that. Because I can just go and buy the product from somebody who shares my values. So it's ultimately, it was a financial decision. Look, they're not going to change. If you look back, I thank you, CS. May I pin you? Because I feel really strongly about what you just said, and I want to reiterate that. CS Lavie makes a very important point. She says, I have a question about racism too. Nothing will succeed in the United States if we don't eradicate it now. Victim bashing, racism is just another aspect of victim bashing, scapegoating, etc. If you look at the video I did, I think it was two and a half years ago, it was called The Virus We Are All Infected With. I wrote that before we knew anything about COVID coming along. But I used virus as an example of something that we're all infected with. We're all infected with these false teachings. We grow up with them. You know, we grow up watching Beretta. We grow up watching American 1970s cop shows. And whether we're consciously aware of it or not, we've internalized the racism. We've internalized this stuff. And if we're honest with ourselves, and if we really want to walk the walk, we have to take a look at these dark aspects and confront them. And we have to excise them. We have to confront our beliefs. And we have to challenge them because we've all been, unfortunately, this is like a virus and we've all been infected. And the honest person will say that. Okay, let's move on. All right, so all right, the next question is coming from Tia Picaro. Hi, Tia, and thanks for joining us. Tia writes, if we go about our business and focus on correcting ourselves, will that have an impact on the injustices we see in the world? Or do we need to be about our business and fight like heckles and hallberries to resist the injustices that we see in our society? Being about our business and the change we want to see in the world. What do y'all think? It's a good question. I mean, I feel like being a decent human being means I have to stand up and call people out. I don't enjoy being the witch in this community when I have to yell at somebody who said something racist. I mean, but if we don't do this and challenge ourselves, we're going to stay sick. It's like if you love somebody and you see that they're sick, you have to say, hey, I'm worried about you. I think you're sick. So, you know, it has to come from a loving place, but yeah, let's take a look. If Spirit could be a little bit more specific on that. We'll do 3-card Blitz on that. Being about our business. What's okay? Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Basically, the message I got from Spirit regarding this question has to do with how one heals and lives an integrated life. In plain words, you can see the first card is Hermes, who brings the elixir. It's the healing card. It's the card of the healer, brings the medicine. So what they're saying is that it is a virus, in the sense that to have a false belief can not only causes suffering and unhappiness. Buddhism talks about this. If you have a false belief, it's going to create unhappiness for you. Thank you, Stephanie. I will take that cup of coffee. Thank you so much. So what they're saying is that because you believe something that's not true, the end result will be suffering, and you can't produce anything that's gonna. It's like what Sheila of Celtic Tarot said: if you plant a tree in bad soil, you're not going to get a good result. So you have to take a look at your soil. You have to take a look at the foundation. The healing card comes to us to teach us that we're not going to be able to help anyone if we don't take a look at ourselves and fix ourselves. It goes back to, I use the analogy of being an ambulance. The function of an ambulance is to get people who are sick to the hospital, right? It's to save lives. But if the ambulance had 3 broken wheels, it wouldn't go anywhere. So the Page of Cups comes as the teacher that we have to take care of ourselves and be about our business and get our own brains right, get our own internal belief systems right, get our own head straight, if we plan on helping anybody else. And part of being about our business is being a force for good in the world. The other thing they're talking about is get educated. We can't just sit around talking about a beautiful world we want to create if we don't have the information necessary in order to create it. Thank you, Marie Henson. I think the card said yes to that, because we looked at voter suppression laws. It looked like the business world would aggressively try to toss them out because it was costing them money in boycotts we would be doing. So you can see the second card coming in is the card of knowledge and hidden knowledge. When we know better, we do better. One of the things I always encourage people to do is to read books and to spend time in cultures that you may not be familiar with. For example, if you've never learned anything about Hindu culture, you might want to visit a temple or the Sikh Gurdwara. Being exposed to other Americans, right? If we don't know each other's stories, how can we have a relationship with one another? I can't have empathy for you until I know your story, right? This is why Maya Angelou was such a powerful teacher, right? I know why a caged bird sings. If people read that story and they, oh, I've read your story. Now I can feel empathy for you because I've read your story. I've heard your story. This is why education, primary education, was something that Joyce and I were talking about. The children aren't getting the stories. How can we raise healthy children if they don't hear the stories? So High Priestess is about education, and it's about knowledge and about receiving the knowledge that's necessary in order to be about our business and help people. The Tower comes to us also. So thank you, Patricia. That's very kind. Thank you for the donation. The Tower is a shakeup. It is painful. It is painful to grow. It's painful. And also, when you've been raised one way your whole life, say you were raised in an evangelical Southern white Christian church, to believe that you are this person in the world and that this is the truth, et cetera, et cetera. And then you go out into the real world and you realize that everything that you heard growing up is not true, that it's all a lie, that it's all misinformation. In comes the Tower. This is the kind of breakdown that we saw when we went into Ghislaine Maxwell's. It's when every story you told yourself is not real. It's necessary because, as painful as, depending upon how much you hold to the false story, the more violent it will become. I used to know people that were cult deprogrammers. They used to deprogram people in cults. And the Tower always had to happen, because there got to be a point in the deprogramming where the person had to accept that what they were clinging to had no bearing in reality. And unfortunately for this nation, a lot of people still have to go through the tower. Be about your business, examine your own prejudices, read, particularly the stories of people whose life experiences are completely different than your own. Travel when you can to see other communities, reach out and help when you can. The best antidote to prejudice and this type of ignorance is education and helping people and reaching out to them. Thank you, Judy, Nellie. I appreciate that. That's quite an interesting. Judy, that's quite cute. I don't know how you did that, but that's awesome. I really like that. Thank you, Lily girl. Thank you so much to you, and thank you for your support. Wow. That was I liked that blitz, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Well, we'll keep going here. Okay, so Michelle Timka. Michelle Timka, did I pronounce that right? Michelle Timka writes, I just read an article about COVID in Brazil. It sounds terrible. What's going to happen with COVID in Brazil? It does sound terrible because if you don't make concerted efforts to make sure that vulnerable people are vaccinated, you're going to see high mortality. That's just the science of it. So let's take a look at the future of Brazil. We'll do 3 cards. Thank you, aggravated progressive. It's very kind of you. At my age, I'll take any lust I can get. It's very funny. Okay, so. Oh, I better put this up. I better put this question up. Thank you, Terry. That's Terry with the beautiful hair. Thank you so much. Okay, COVID in Brazil. Crack me up. You folks crack me up. You know, if I live to be 90, I will still be here every Sunday at 90, I promise. God willing, right? Okay, let's do it. COVID in Brazil. Isn't this fun? I just love this. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Hey, you guys, they're going to get new leadership in Brazil. This Bolsonaro guy, he's out. There's a guy coming. He's very level-headed. He presents as the King of Pentacles, possibly an Earth sign. He's going to be the new leader of Brazil. He's compassionate and reasonable, and he's brought into Brazil because people are disgusted with this guy. You can see. I just got the remote when I went into that. But basically, we get our wish. Right, 9 of Cups. A star is going to emerge out of Brazil, and he's the King of Pentacles. Yeah, there's new leadership. I think people were horrified and disgusted by the previous leadership, and it looks like, as a result, yeah, family secrets, right? The inheritance, a new contract. They got a new guy. Look at this. New family, new legacy. Star. Look at that. A new contract. A new guy. Look at that. Signing the contract. He's going to bring wealth and success and healing to Brazil. Brazil's getting new leadership. They're getting the equivalent of their version of a Biden. He's a very gentle man. The man is coming in as their leader. Oh, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of female leadership in Brazil. But this man, he's very compassionate, and believe it or not, it's someone in the business sector, but he has a heart of gold. That's the person coming in. It just, what happened when I went into that energy is that so many reasonable people in Brazil just became disgusted. Thank you, Chacha Brown. Yeah. Really bizarre. Maybe somebody, we do have fans of the channel in Brazil. Maybe they can tell us who this person is. It looks like he's a man in the business sector, possibly an earth sign male, tall, dark, and good looking is how I always like to call the King of Pentacles. All right. So let's move on to the next question. This one comes from Debbie K. Hi, Debbie. Good to have you here. Debbie K writes, still very concerned about the January 6th insurrection investigations. The organizer must face justice. Will that ever happen? All right. So the January 6th insurrection investigation. Now, I know that Merrick Garland has made this a top priority, and I do know that when I was asked to go in and take a look at 45 to see some of the investigations that were happening with 45, it came out that this was the biggest threat to him in terms of criminal charges was January 6th. So let's take a look. I think I might go ahead and do 12 cards. What do y'all say? Because it's a big topic rather than 3. Let's do this. And we've been past the hour, just to let people know. So if you haven't had a chance to do so, be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification. I'll go ahead and do this blitz. Then we'll take a quick 2 minutes and let people use the restroom. All right, sound good? Sorry, I was supposed to announce the bathroom break 15 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Try to be considerate. I got wrapped up in this and I forgot our break. Yeah, what happened with the January 6th insurrection is that there's complete cooperation. Evidently, some of the people that were middle management in the insurrection are giving over everything to the feds. You can see the Fool card is just handing everything over to the mercy of the feds. Ace of Cups, they'll receive grace. I always see the same thing. I see people handing over laptops, computers, text, email, everything's being handed to the feds. There's deep cooperation here. I think a lot of people don't know this, but there's raids happening, and there's going to be more raids happening. There's the FBI. As you all know, if you watch the channel, the Queen of Pentacles, the hidden queen with the hidden information. I see the FBI as institutions are often like feminine. So I chose the Queen of Pentacles. The business, the secret business is my FBI card. What is above? Walking away. Yeah, what happens is that, they made the mistake they made is that here's what they didn't think about. They didn't think that there would be so many people in the insurrection that had so much private information that would be so willing to abandon the movement and cooperate with a federal investigation. Like, here you go. We didn't know. We thought we were helping. Here, you want some more? Oh. The people that were attracted to this insurrection, if you get into the psyche here, and this is something that's going to really help people understand this, the psyche of these individuals is such that they love authority. They love authority. They want authority. So what happens when the authorities come in and dominate them? They love it. Oh, the authority. So the impression I get with these folks is that they respond well to the angry daddy, the angry, aggressive male energy. So if the feds show up, this is a raid. This can be a police raid. This is the FBI. It's pretty easy for me to interpret this as FBI police raids coming in, people leaving, People, fool takes a leap of faith. Ace of Cups, offering information, movement. As for people who refuse to cooperate with the investigation, there's the perfect judge. What is the mantra of the Queen of Wands? I seek justice absolute. Right? I seek justice absolute. Some people don't. I think that this is that woman. I keep getting the woman, Jessica Watkins. She keeps screaming, traitors, traitors, you're betraying us. As people are handing all this information over, she continues to be the true believer. It's just absolutely wild. And the judge, the hopes and the fears. What did I say about Watkins? What did she say? Betrayal, stabbed in the back. You betrayed us. You've betrayed us. That's what she says. Final outcome. You cannot hide from the truth, right? This is what Ghislaine Maxwell is dealing with. The truth is the truth. The truth wins. They know what they're doing. The FBI, the feds know how to get people to talk. They're trained in this. This is a process, and it will result. Look, everything's coming out. In the end, even Watkins takes a deal. Look at that. Even she eventually comes over. That's January 6th. Now, I think that January 6th really puts number 45 in serious jeopardy, because when you go into his Akashic records, when you put yourself in his shoes, and I'm concerned, right? As an HCRV person, I am the target. When I sit in those shoes, I'm pretty concerned. More so even than taxes or anything else. Oh, you have Baltic mirror. All right, here's a good question that I think is one we haven't done in a while, and I think it's worth taking a look at. Jay writes, will they expel Marjorie Taylor Greene? What do y'all think? I think it's a good question. Listen, folks, we're at 12:20. I'm going to go ahead and take a 2-minute bathroom break for people. I'm fine. I don't need to go. But let's go ahead and give people a 2-minute if you need to get up, stretch, use the restroom. I'm going to keep going with the blitzes, but I know a lot of people, they've been frustrated. They've said they want to see the live stream. It's cool. Go ahead, use the restroom. We'll be here waiting for you. You got a couple minutes. Let's hang out and talk while we take our break. Everybody having fun with the show? Hi, Christopher Guala. Yeah, on Greene. It goes back to what the theme for today is: false teachings, right? It goes over and over and over and over and over again. If you're looking at the Akashic records, that is the message that truth versus fantasy, right? So Marjorie Taylor Greene is another tragic example of that. If she had read the stories, if she had had parents that understood how to be about their business and to make sure that they had an educated child, we wouldn't be in this mess. If she had been about her business and gotten the education she needed to be a United States congressperson, we wouldn't be in this mess. It's amazing how many of these people have never even studied the Constitution, and yet they're sitting in DC. It's crazy. Looking forward to lunch, says Shane Gamble. Then they can go about their business just like Mila. It's true. Mila wants to play, and I basically I tucker her out. But what I did prior to the show is I gave her a big, warm, yummy meal. She gobbled it up, and then because I wanted her to just go to sleep. So I fed her a little later than usual, and that's why she's asleep. All right, so the Suez Canal, Foggy. I did go into the Suez Canal, and I was like dragging. I think, look, it's bad. They're now, when I went into the remote, they were talking about taking parts of the boat apart. That's crazy. They may just have to make it a skeleton and drag it out of there. That's what they're talking about. I saw them possibly removing parts of the boat. It's crazy. Okay, let's go. I think everybody who had to use the restroom has used the restroom. Everybody that had to leave has taken off. So let's go ahead and get started again. All right, we're doing a Blitz on Marjorie Taylor Greene. All right. She was funded by money. That's basically what they're saying. Did she run unopposed or did she run opposed? I can't remember. Joe Tilson says the ship is, oh, yeah, maybe. Okay. All right. I can't stop and read it. Anyway, we've got 9 of Pentacles, which is financial stability. And then we've got the harvesting the green. So 7 of Pentacles is kind of like a Roth IRA. You plant and then you harvest. You take a portion for yourself. This is also a card I often will use for green capitalism, where we plant the trees and then we take a portion for ourselves. If we take care of Gaia, Gaia takes care of us. This is green capitalism. But what we're seeing with her is she feels confident because of somebody is paying for her to be there. Because her karma card, 9 of Pentacles, would denote a confidence. She feels safe for the time being. Celebration of women. What crosses her? Her time is running out. It is kind of interesting that Democratic women really are out for this. It's kind of a little bit like happening, which is kind of a shame. Oh yeah, look at that movement card. Part of them would rather her go out and do something else rather than be in Congress with a Knight of Wands there, juggling 2 job opportunities, where she's headed, 5 of Wands, education, exchange of ideas. The GOP is saying that they want her to start getting educated. It's actually coming from GOP leadership. This woman's got to get her information straight, because this exchange of ideas education card came in her future. Ace of Wands, victory within 1 month regarding her wishes. Her cards are looking pretty good, I'm sorry to say. Hopes and fears, rejecting an offer, the final outcome for her. They don't want to get rid of her. They want to educate her and make her more of a moderate. They think that they can work with her. The GOP does. There's a lot of money still riding on her. They invested in her, and it looks like they want to send her for some training, some education. The clarification for her, yeah, Star, Ace of Wands. They want to modify her. Yeah. But I don't see an exit. I'm sorry to say. If it comes up, it doesn't come up now. The same thing happened with Sarah Palin, right? She didn't know anything. She wasn't very educated. She just got angry when we would have temper tantrums, but she didn't know what she was talking about. So the same thing, they had to send people in to sit with her and go over the history books and go over the facts because she simply didn't have them. And that seems to be what's happening with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Wow. Yeah, exactly like Sarah Palin. They had to educate her, right? They were making her read all this stuff and memorize, and she kind of went a little crazy. But in a way, if that's how you're raised, if you weren't raised with real knowledge and then you have to play catch up in 3 weeks, it's just so. All right, so I think we're going to do one more question because we've been here for like an hour and a half. So can lead right, Kathy G. What do y'all think? What should be the next question? What do you think? What should be our last question? Oh, people wanted to know about the housing market and the economy. Do you want me to take a look at the housing market or the economy before we close today? The job market looks fantastic. Well, the good thing about having the feds and the state offering so many jobs is that it also puts pressure on the private sector to have to compete with the feds because I think the feds are going to, the Fed jobs have a lot of benefits. So that would be good just in terms of creating competition. Do you want to get 25 an hour for working for Army Corps of Engineers to clean public lands, or $7.50 working at Walmart? Of course, you're going to take the 25 an hour. Like the same thing happened when Roosevelt did the New Deal. It created necessary competition. Okay. What's going to be our last question, folks? I'm so tired of Donald Trump. Do you guys, do you want the last one to be about Trump? Why is everybody asking about Angelina Jolie? I've been getting a lot of questions about that. Do you guys want a celebrity one for us to close with celebrities? No, I don't think that's what's going on, Sherry, with the chip. It's just that it was really, really heavy and the water levels are dropping and it's a problem. Okay, so it looks like the leading question has to do with the economy and housing. So if you are thinking about housing, if you're thinking about buying a house, or if you're concerned about the upcoming economy, let's just go ahead. I think everything's going to be fine now because we got through February and we're getting through March, thank goodness. If you are in any of those areas that were hit by food shortages, good for you. If you did save 3 to 4 months worth of food, that'll help with the people will be able to supplement with that to pay for the rise in food cost. So glad Spirit told us to do that, because that's exactly what I've been doing right now too, is just eating the food that I stored for, winter, because we had all those warnings from Spirit that there would be food shortages and rises in food costs. So for people who did were about their business, they got their generators, food, water, etc. Now you can start using that, you want to replace to the best of your ability, and it'll hopefully get your costs down monthly to supplement for these increased prices in produce, etc. That's been my advice. That's what I'm doing right now myself. Okay, so we're going to look at the economy. Cost rose, and in some areas as much as a third. So, children are starving. I know there was one kid, she started crying during a class on Zoom and told her class she was starving to death. And so they literally had to bring her food. So, yeah, it's gotten so expensive that some people can't even feed themselves. So, and then if you also have extra cans or extra food because you did plan sharing with people who are struggling right now, would also be good. Okay, the economy. I was going through my pantry of extra food for the emergency, and I gotta start eating this stuff. February's done. I gotta start working through it. And I found stuff that I usually don't eat. I found some canned sugar-free peaches. Oh my God, it was so good. I opened it up, I put it in a bowl, and I thought, I'll take a couple bites. It'll hold me over till I have lunch. I ended up eating the entire can of peaches. So good. I love canned peaches. Where you are at, where we are at with the economy right now, the wish has been granted, and the help comes. The knight on the white horse, who brings the chalice, the wedding chalice. Hello, nice to see you. Thanks for all the help. And then a lovely 9 of cups. We're going to be just fine. February was the worst. February, oh my God. We are strong. We are strong. There are more good people than bad people in America. And I know it's hard to believe, but there are more good people than bad people in DC. They're there because they really love the country and because they really want to serve their country. So we are strong. You watch too much of the news, you're going to feel like the nation is not strong, but they're saying the spirit of the nation is strong right now. Things are happening very, very fast. We've got that aggressive energy coming in. The winds of change, right? The Knight of Swords is a windy night, brings wind, bull in a china shop, aggressive energy. The nation, the inheritance of the nation, right? We have to work through all the karma, reparations, right? Broken treaties, all that is our karma, right? That's the dark aspect of the 10 of Pentacles. All of that is what we've inherited. You have to face the truth in order to heal. You can't continue to live your life based on false ideas, right? We can't continue to do that. So the 10 of Pentacles, America must face its family secrets. It has to face its legacy. And what it sits in regard to that is confusion. We have to know one another's stories. We have to know the truth of what we did in order to heal it. The cure has already happened. Ace of Swords sits in the past placement. I think that's the bailout, 1.9 trillion. Not seeing any real estate cards here for some reason. The truth will set us free. Yeah, I mean, you know what? It's just the facts. This is what Biden administration, he's just giving people the facts, aid and facts. But look at this gaslighting. Look at what the nation was sitting in. They don't know who to believe. Exchange of ideas. Experts, knowledge, the hope and the fears, the new beginning, the Green Deal, the new economy, the final outcome for us. Guess. What's the final outcome for the economy of this nation? What have I always said? This is a great thing to end the show on today. What's the future economy? What's the future Republican Party? What's the future of America? Y'all know. The green economy. We saved ourselves. We don't die in a fiery Armageddon. That is not the karma. The karma is tikkun olam. See, I'm going to teach y'all some Hebrew today. Tikkun, to fix. Olam, the world. So together we say tikkun olam. All right, a little bit of Hebrew. See, you hang out with me, you learn Sanskrit, you learn Hebrew. Those are the ancient ways, right? Pagans talk about this, right? The Greene witches. The fixing of the world is the function of humanity, right? We are Gaia's immune system. We are here to serve her. This is the function of humans, to help with biodiversity and to expand the goodness, right? To protect and expand the goodness, right? So the final outcome for humanity, its destiny, they got it wrong, right? False teachings. False teachings. This is all going to be Armageddon. No, the final outcome, as far as Gaia is concerned, because the source of life is pure goodness. It seeks to expand its goodness into infinity. The source of all life, Gaia, is love, and it seeks to expand its goodness into the universe, into infinity. So the sky's the limit. We never die. We are never destroyed. We go on forever. It can't be created or destroyed, but it can be expanded and developed. And we expand into the great limitless universe, continually evolving the perfection. That's our destiny. And it's exciting to be here at this time, watching the process unfold. There you go. All right. That was so much fun. Man, I love hanging with you folks. You're the best people in the world to spend time with. Joy Bird asked an important question before we leave. This is a question that a lot of people here probably can explain to Joy Bird, but she's asking a great question. She says, please explain why you say rebuilding of much infrastructure must take place in the next 10 years. The answer has to do with the Paris Accord. We signed that by 2030, we will no longer be producing American-made fuel engines. We're moving to other types of fuel technology. And with the new infrastructure, transportation, et cetera, that's being developed, it has to be developed long-term, which means it has to be part of the new Green Deal. It can't be the old infrastructure because that would make no sense. So the things we're building now have to meet with the standards that were decided at the Paris Peace Accords. So I think that for many people, do you see these orbs that keep flying by? Y'all seeing them? Isn't that crazy? They're like flying around. It's not light because I'm actually seeing them. I never get orbs. Isn't that weird? Or do I get orbs and I don't know? Have you all been seeing the orbs fly? It's bizarre. I'll go back and look at the film footage and see if you guys caught it. It's so strange. Somebody came to visit. I don't know. All right. Love and light, everyone. Thank you so much. You're so sweet, Christopher. Love and light to everyone. If you're still trying to get into a reading, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com or the links below. If you're trying to join and you'd like to find out more about the join button and the classes I'll be teaching, I'm going to be putting up separate videos about all of that. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Love and blessings to you all. Go out and get some fresh air, work in your gardens, plant if you can, share if you can, love when you can. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.